Good afternoon.
Hi.
I hope everybody is well. Thank you so much for attending this session with us, which is about combating product failure in with lean thinking. Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate at the same time. Alexandra, do you mind just looking out for anyone who is in the waiting room?
Yes, sure.
So it's good to see everyone that's come to join us. Welcome to today's event, which is hosted jointly by Alexandra and myself. Alexandra is a master black belt who has worked with various organizations pretty much around the globe, and she has done a lot of improvements and brought a lot of benefit to so many organizations with lean thinking, with Lean Six Sigma, and various other change management methodologies. I myself, Kola Olutimehin, have been in the change management world for a while and have used various methodologies in terms of bringing benefits and changes to so many organizations. So today, what we are doing is we're talking about combating product failure with lean thinking. And I'm just going to give a chance to Alexandra right now to just say a quick hello to you all, and then we will both be sharing today's event with you. So welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for being here with us. So my name is Alexandra. I'm working with improvement methodologies such as Lean Six Sigma, business process management, preparing processes for RPA, which is robotic process automation. I don't know, there are like almost 14 years since I've started working with these methodologies. I'm really happy with them. As you will see, you can find the use of these methodologies even if your day-to-day activity at home, not just at your workplace, but mainly at your workplace. And I really hope that this presentation today will give you little more insight and confidence about how to use the lean thinking techniques in order to make your processes better, to make your life easier, and so on. So thank you for joining, and yeah, we are open for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alexandra. It's really, really good to have you together with me here. And as we said, we are talking about combating product failure with lean thinking. And I have begun to share my screen with you. And so we've got a set of slides that we have prepared for you for today. And today we're going to be talking about two different areas. We are talking about, firstly, looking at what lean thinking is, what is startup, what we mean by startup, the MVP, and a quick view of Agile, and a decision point where you decide whether you continue or you put a change in place. Then on the other part, we're going to be looking at what is exactly happening in our world. And Alexandra will be taking us through that majorly and seeing how we can also apply lean thinking into what some of the things that we are doing and how we're taking things forward. So right now, we'll just kick in and just talk about the introduction. As you already know, there's pretty much very little you can do in terms of putting a guarantee against failure. There's so many things that we start, there's so many things that we do, and we have absolutely no 100% assurance that it will work the way we want it to work. However, a lot of times, when we start, we have that feeling and that confidence that, oh, it's got to work. So we don't think of a plan B, we don't think of various things, but we go into it believing it's going to work. But I want to say to you that a lot of times it doesn't usually work the way we think it will. And this is where you really need to begin to think about your own definition of what failure is. Failure, is it, as Napoleon Hill would say, a temporary defeat? So if it is a temporary defeat, it means it is up to that point. And so you can rethink and begin to do things differently with that. Henry Ford said, failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Just giving you a few clues and a few ideas about how one thinks about failure. It needs to be redefined in the dictionary of a mind, that it does not mean that it's the end. It means you must more or less prepare for it and know what you're going to do with it. And we're talking about combating failure with lean thinking. What is lean? Without having gone into the depth of the history of lean, which is what we refer to it in the Western world, it actually began with what is referred to as the Toyota production system in the 1950s, probably late 1940s into the 1950s, where the operation director took a charge and lead working with Eiichiro Toyoda of Toyota Motor Company at the time. And the focus was to ensure that they did things in what the Western world now calls the lean way. The lean way is when we refer to eliminating waste, anything that's not going to add value to the process of what we're doing. Now let's just put you in the picture. Japan was like every other country post Second World War, 1945. They were looking to see how things were going to improve in the country. And of course, the various industries, including the motor vehicle industry, where the Toyota family owned the Toyota Motor Company. For them, they needed new ways of doing things and how they could get these things done. But what was also important and evident was that they had lost a lot of money when it comes to the war. So there was not a lot of money. So they needed to be really very wise with the use of money. So what is now known as lean is cutting out everything that will not add value to a process. Say, for example, having a lot of inventory. Why are we having inventory? It's because we want to get some form of comfort, some form of assurance that we can have the process to continue. So they found that there's some certain ways by which we can eliminate the use for keeping inventory and saving some money, saving time with various things, and all the resources, such as the tools that are being used and various things. It so happened that by the middle of the 1980s, 1970s into 1980s, it was evident that Toyota was actually leading the world in motor vehicle manufacturing. And so they needed to, so some guys did a research in the 1980s and found that Toyota was not only better in terms of the cost by which they made a vehicle, they did it quicker and they produced better quality in terms of the output. And so this is where the world of lean started, trying to see how it applied to other industries, etc., etc. So when we now talk about lean and we're looking at a startup, one of the first things that I want to make clear in terms of a startup is the understanding that a startup is not limited to a business that you are just beginning. I was having a chat with a good friend the other day, and he leads a fantastic organization back in Africa. They had done various things. They had risen from where they were, and they had come to become one of the topmost in their industry. But the challenges of the day, particularly the pandemic, has hit everyone, and people are thinking, how best are they going to do business? Particularly if you were not online before and you're now trying to get your business online. So here they are writing up new products, various things, and he felt they were not a startup. And I'm saying, well, you're starting some things new. That is what a startup is. So when you're starting things new, you got to begin to consider that actually we're putting money into this, we're putting time into this, we're putting effort into this. How are we going to monitor all of these resources that we're putting into these things in order to make sure that we don't run out of resources, as it were? So a startup is not just about the creating, starting a new business, but it's also about an existing business moving into something that they do not already have. And with a startup, one of the things that we are looking to be that we'll be able to put in place is, at what point do you feel that a customer should be able to have what you need? At what point is it, what are the points where what they actually need? Sorry, I just got distracted by my phone ringing there, and I forgot to put it away. I actually did need it in order to be able to consult with the team when we're. So basically, a lot of effort of organizations is, right, we've got to make this product right, we've got to get it in a way that everybody likes what we have, and then push it out to the customer. One of the things that we have found out is that a lot of startups never do get to where they want to be. One, they have spent a lot of money or a lot of resources, or exhausted a lot of the resources without getting a single sale. And if they have not got a single sale, it means there's no way to be able to continue business. Why wouldn't they have a single sale or have very little sale? Probably because the target market is not wanting what you are giving to them, or they're wanting it, but they're not wanting exactly what you're giving to them out of it. And so it's important from the point of view of a minimum viable product that we kind of identify, understand what a target market is, and then we give them something little enough for us to be able to get feedback on it and then provide what it is that they really want to have and hopefully be able to use and then buy the full things of us. And so as the slide here says, it's a development technique that produces just enough features to satisfy customers or early adopters of your product and provide validated learning for your future product or service development. So with the cartoon that you've seen there, you say, wasn't this supposed to be a chair? And it's just given the leg of a chair. Says, oh, this is just the MVP version of it. So if you say that's the way the leg of the chair should be or not, then we can improve better by the time we bring the four legs of the chair to you, or by the time we bring the seating and various things to you. And in terms of services, where, for example, it's a website that you're creating and you're expecting people to buy, for example, some of the things that we have looked at and we have changed in the way we're running our business, where a lot of times we're moving, we just go to conduct training physically with people, is also looking at how can we ensure that people can have ready-made, self-studied products that they can buy off us. There's a thinking that, okay, we can have the whole thing ready and then give it to them. But there's also the thinking that perhaps we need to test what exactly will be good use of learning for them. So it's the response that we get from the early adopters, from the first few customers, that helps us to develop further and spend more time and resources with it. And that's the whole idea about a minimum viable product, which from a point of view of agile, the agile product delivery work, which says it's the ability to change direction very quickly and be highly responsive to changes in the business requirements of the product owner or customer. And so you, with Agile, the key thing is you are doing bits and bits, which, as you can see there, is reviewed, tested, it's planned, designed, built, tested, and then reviewed to see how we could make launched, get feedback, and then see how we could move into the second sprint. So we plan what we need to do within stated time, cost, and quality requirements, which are the specifications that we have, and then we pass it on in order to improve the next step. So with the Agile, it's one way that which we're using the MVP, minimum viable product, to improve as we go on to build the next, to build the major thing, the final thing, the thing that we have the vision for, whether it's a physical product or a soft product in services. And just like one of the early adopters of Agile from the APMG, the certification body, one of that deals with the Agile project management, they said that they had an early adopter who said, we got less than we asked for, but more than we expected, because we got exactly what we wanted. That's the whole point behind the Agile. Now, once you have done this and you spend time on what you're doing for a while, this is where we are getting to the point where we're thinking, what are the customers saying to us? Is it something they want? So shall we persist in the way we're going? Or are there some slight changes which helps us to persist? Or this is a total change of direction for us before our resources run out, in which case you are taking a pivot, which is talking about the change. And this is where, very importantly, you must have some metrics to guide you. When I say metrics, I'm talking about how do you judge whether you should be going the right way or not? Is it just through thinking, or do you have facts which you can look at in order to help you with it? And so I talk about the 3 A's in the metrics, which is actionable, accessible, and auditable. Your metric should be a way by which we can identify, from the point of view of actionable, a cause and effect. What is it exactly that is causing people to not buy your product? Or for those that have bought it, why did they buy it? Can we trace that to something that is kind of course, so that we can place an action point on it? Second thing is looking at the accessibility. How accessible is the data that you are presenting, or the report? Do people have to go through various things before they actually find the information that they require? The team that is working on it, what is it that they have to go through in order to get to them? And thirdly, auditable. From the point of view of the auditable, can we test this data, that what the information that we're actually getting is the real information? Can we test it? Is there any way that we can trace it and say that these results are not just things that have been plucked from thin air, but this is actually what the customers are saying? And so we have those 3 key points in terms of knowing whether you should make a switch in order to avoid your failure, or what you should do. So from that point of view, this is what the key thing about the combating failure is: thinking, can we have an MVP, a minimum viable product? We don't know what customers want. Customers don't know what they want. And so these are some of the key things that I wanted to share with you. At this point, I just want to find out if there are any questions right now. Any questions, any thoughts? Alexandra, do you have anything you want to say on that? Because
Yes, yes, I would actually want to add that the fact that I mean all our economic and
yeah,
business world has changed in the last couple of months, let's say. So we are a training and consulting company. We do training. We did trainings, in-class trainings. So actually, our whole business changed. Nothing is the same.
yeah,
We needed to adapt to switch to the online environment with the trainings. And what happened, it was we thought about it and said, okay, well, it's a good idea to invest in a professional studio with high quality cameras and microphones and everything to deliver these online classes. Or let's take this step by step. And luckily, we took it step by step, so we didn't, yeah, go that big from the beginning. So
yeah,
our first training session, online training session, was exactly like this with Zoom, with our training materials. And we actually tried and figure out if people are willing to come to trainings, to participate to trainings, because most businesses were getting shut down,
yeah,
were downsizing, were, I don't know, decreasing the budget for trainings and all these kind of activities. We also have two types of customers. So we have business to business. We have also persons that are paying for themselves the classes. So we just started like this, step by step. Then we said, oh, okay, so this is working. People are willing to come to class. Then we bought a green screen to enhance the experience, then a professional microphone and a webcam and so on. So actually what we did was this minimum viable product that you were talking about, and this agile approach of let's see how it works. Let's see what the market is saying, the customer, what do they want? They still need
absolutely,
our products, our services. So
absolutely.
until now, it works. So
Yeah,
we are on the good track. Yeah.
yeah, and we've seen some of those things work. I think what we'll do is, in absence of questions right now, maybe we will probably take questions towards the end. But that's the emphasis where we talk about the emphasis of lean and getting rid of waste in order for you to know what to do. You don't run out of resources. Well, just as some of the things I just wanted to mention at this event is to also let you know that we are both MakeWay Global and Enviso Global. We are partners or accredited partners of the International Lean Six Sigma Institute. And there's going to be a conference, a Lean Six Sigma conference, which is going to be live streamed around the world. It's a dual. It's going to be physical as well as virtual from January 13 to 14, 2021. And we do have special deals that they've allowed us to use on tickets. So please, if you do want to know more about this, please send an email to training@makewayglobal.com. And by the way, these slides will also be available at the end of this event. So right now, what we're going to do is look at the next presentation, which Alexandra is going to lead us on, where we are talking about the new order in our world. And so I think, do you prefer for me to come out of sharing my screen so that you
Yes.
can share yours?
Mhm. I think it's easier for me
Yes,
if I go through
that will
the
be better.
slides. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So as I was talking about the shift that we made in our trainings, It's actually, this is the new way of working. Yeah, we are going digital, we are going online.
Absolutely.
It's really hard at this moment to have this person-to-person interaction. The same is happening at schools. I mean, I have two daughters, they are studying online using Zoom as well as we are doing now. So basically, we are now in the fourth industrial revolution. Yeah, change is happening really fast. While the previous mechanical, electrical, and internet revolutions empowered corporations, this one now is empowering employees, yeah, equipping them with many options and tools. So this is also a chance for us to quickly adapt to this change, because in recent months, let's say, or even years, we have seen as five new types of economical landscapes emerging in our world. So these are the sharing economy, the digital economy. We can talk about the economy, the circular economy, and also the platform economy. Maybe it sounds really complicated what I'm saying now, but if we will take them one by one, you will see that you are actually part of this new economic landscape. So let's go through them a little bit. And so when we are talking about the digital economy, yeah, this coronavirus now has made the world more digital, prompting millions of us to work remotely, buy groceries online, stay in touch with family, with friends, with customers, also via video, via Zoom, via these digital services that we have. Some of these changes could be permanent, with long-term implications for societies, for economies, for governments worldwide. Actually, all this situation is accelerating the urgency for agility, adaptability, and transformation in the way we are doing business. When we are talking about the digital economy, we are talking about the impact of digital technology on patterns of production and consumption. This includes actually how goods and services are marketed, traded, and also paid for. What makes the digital economy different from the traditional economy? So first of all, think about the navigation app. Let's say, I don't know, no team of people will be able to provide real-time traffic-aware navigation in the way that smartphone apps do it. And here I have an example of my own, I mean a personal example. So before this coronavirus, we had, I told you, in-class trainings, paper-based exam also. So the procedure was that we needed to scan the answer sheets of the participants, send them to the certification body in order for them to be assessed. So I just finished the training at the customer's premises, wanted to scan the answer sheets. It was late in the night, it was like 11 in the night. And I was thinking, where do I find a scanning center which is open this time of the night? And the first instinct was go on Google, search it on Google. Okay, so open scanning center non-stop. And then while I was Googling for this scanning center, I was just thinking, why don't I go to Google Play and maybe find an app who can scan these documents for me and just send them via email directly from my phone, and everything actually got settled in like 2 or 3 minutes, because everything is now really accessible. It's yeah, we are going online, we are going digital, we have the scanning app, we don't need the scanning machine anymore. So this is kind of the direction, yeah, where people are going now, and businesses are going. And also, if you think, we are sharing some resources, which lead us to our second economical landscape, which is the sharing economy. And again, I'm going to say that even if it sounds really new, if you own a smartphone, chances are that you are an active participant in the sharing economy. The basis of sharing economy is simple. By using the internet to expand our networks, the need of one customer can easily be met by another community member. This, for example, like for me, the most obvious examples of sharing economy are Uber and Airbnb, both of which develop their own platforms to allow service providers and users to connect to the benefit of both. These companies don't just represent a new way of thinking or new devices, but a new way to use data effectively, to provide services to people when and where they want them. Imagine you're going hopefully on a business trip, let's say, not Paris because it's on lockdown, but you go to Vienna, you go to Amsterdam, you go, I don't know, whatever place you want. You don't have the need anymore to search for a taxi phone number to place an order. Everywhere you go, you have Uber. Yeah, so it's a service that you can access. You actually you move your focus from owning to accessing a service or a product. So most people now, so what I've seen is that most people had made this shift from ownership, buy my car, have my car, which is mine, to this access of products and services. And also, if we think of Uber, I mean, everyone can be a Uber driver. So if he's an expert, he can do it. He can learn. He can earn more money. He's actually a specialist in its own field, which brings us to the gig economy. Yeah, gig economy. It's a term. I mean, everyone is talking about the gig economy. What is a gig? Yeah. Actually, a growing number of people work in this gig economy. The term might seem like something new, but it really isn't. So before the apps brought the idea of on-demand service and gig work to everybody's phone, the gig economy was sometimes called the freelance economy, the agile workforce, or even temporary work. I found a really funny and nice example about what the gig economy is and how can you understand it better. If you know, musicians often refer to performing at a place as taking on a gig. I have a gig to that place, to Irish pub. So actually they are not employees, full-time employees, 9 to 5. They work based on contracts. And the places they are having this gig, they are contracting them based on their performance, based on how well they are playing the music, based on their feedback from other audiences that they had. The gig economy works much the same way, without the need to carry a tune and to know how to play, but actually you have to know how to do your job. Instead of a traditional in-office full-time job with a single company, gig workers work as short-term, temporary, independent contractors for one or a variety of employers, which they are not employers in the traditional sense. So they can become partners. This is a benefit also for the specialist who is providing the knowledge that she or he has, and also represents a benefit for the company. Because let's say you have a need in your company to employ, to hire a specialist for you to develop an app, or a marketing specialist. You are not going to hire now a person with a, I don't know, lifelong contract, full-time employee for one job that it's, I don't know, you need it for 6 months, for 1 year in your company. No, you just go online, search for specialists who can perform this job for you, and everyone's happy. So you have platforms available where you can find the specialists, and also you can rate the specialists based on their performance. And this way they also get new jobs, and everyone is it's happy. um, Talking about how you find this specialist, I said that you go to a platform where you can find them. This is our fourth platform economy landscape. So when we are talking about platform economy, we are talking about this environment, this place where you can go and search for your service, search for your product in the most efficient way. And also, depending on how much money are you willing to invest in that particular service or product, or what are you searching for. Companies such as Amazon, Facebook, Google, Salesforce, and we talked also about Uber, are creating actually their own online structures that enable a wide range of human activities. So this opens actually the way for radical changes in how we work, how we socialize, how we create value in the economy, and also how we compete for the resulting profits. And this is actually for all this economic landscape that we talked about, Lean gives you a competitive advantage. Why? Because Lean focuses on reducing waste, focuses on making your process more streamlined, standardized, more I know it rapidly adaptable to the changes that appear in your business world, in your social activities. So as much as you want to be competitive, to make profit, if you don't look inside your processes, I mean, you will succeed, but it's it's a struggle, because when you have simple processes, it's easy to see where the waste comes from. It's easy to adapt to the changes that are coming, to the voice of the customer, who it's not always so clear. Yeah, so you have to understand that really, really good. And these platforms actually, they did understood the voice of the customer. Yeah. They have diverse functions and structures. Google and Facebook, for example, are digital platforms that offer search and social media, but they also provide an infrastructure on which other platforms can be, are built. Amazon, it's a marketplace, as well as eBay or EMAG in Romania, for example. Yeah, so sellers can go access Amazon, eBay, EMAG platforms and sell their products and also their services. So what does the platform economy brings new to the table when comparing it with the traditional linear business? Traditional linear business models creates value through creating products and services that are sold to a customer. On the other hand, platform-based business models create their value by connecting users, both consumers and producers, on an online network. So actually, it gives more flexibility, more transparency to the business. It gets my business to better understand the voice of the customer, the needs of my customers, even if they are business to business, or I don't know, independent people, persons who want to access my products, my services. Another emerging economical landscape would be the circular economy, which is more, I mean, it's growing as we live. So the circular economy, it's a system of production and consumption based on reusable and sustainable design. It seeks actually to eliminate waste from the current linear production system, also known as take, make, waste. And you take some resources, you provide the product, the life of the product ends, you just throw it away in the trash and nothing else happens. So it's a lot of waste that Lean doesn't like, if you remember. A circular or closed loop system develops products and services in a way that is restorative or reusable. This typically means that using recycled materials and ensuring that at the end of the product's use, you can be able to recycle it again and use it again. I saw lately, and I'm really happy with this, that plenty of companies, both large and small companies, have begun to implement the circular design to their products. For example, Timberland. Timberland switched from tires to shoes. Yeah, Timberland has partnered with Omni United, yeah, this is the name, a tire manufacturer and distributor to produce footwear using recycled tires. Johnson Controls, for example, in the automotive industry, yeah, the recycled batteries. So Johnson Controls has managed to design a battery that is 99% reusable. Imagine that. Aquazone, for example, is turning wastewater into fertilizer. It's a Finnish company who has developed a method of upcycling wastewater into fertilizer. So all these new economy landscapes, the sharing economy, the digital economy, gig, platform, circular economy, all these new ways of producing value to your customer are already here. So we don't have a choice, actually, if we want it or not. They are here, we just need to adapt. And one good way of doing this, it's actually turning our focus on Lean and how to make our processes easier to be accessed by our customers and easier to be followed by our people inside the company. So it brings us flexibility and transparency. And as yeah, you can already see here, yeah, so we always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years. Now we never, we plan for great things, but underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10 years. So dream big. This is my advice to all of you. Dream big, because things are moving fast, and we need to keep up. Yeah. So basically, this is what I wanted to talk about, the changes that are happening now, and how can we address these changes with Lean, with other process improvement methodologies, in order to understand the way businesses are happening now, actually. Yeah. So, do you have any questions? Okay, I see here.
I have a question.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is BB Clement.
Hi.
Hi. I'm not even sure if it's a question or more an observation, really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of, as wonderful as these new platforms sound, particularly gig and was it the platform one? Sorry, that's when I came in. I'm thinking of what is the protection for the worker? Because I'm not, in as much as these new landscapes are already here, so there's not much we can do, we're going to have to adapt. But what is the long-term protection for the worker? When we think about things like pensions, if you're working for about 5 different people, who is going to be responsible for your pension? And then also from an employer's perspective, some people, from a legal standpoint, that you will take on and you will think that they are workers, will be held to be employees in law. So in as much as the landscape is changing, I think it's going to take some time for the law to catch up for a start. And then, like I said, I think it exposes workers from an employee standpoint, and longevity as well. And not all industries are good for this. For instance, I work in the legal industry.
Yeah.
And for longevity purposes and continuity for my clients, this method of working, I don't think is in the best interest of my clients, because continuity is paramount.
Yes, I mean every new I don't know, every change, let's say, and I'm trying just to put my my thoughts in order, has its upsides and downsides. So it's not everything, perfect. It will not be perfect from all points of view. But however, thinking about pensions, I mean, for example, let's say, I don't know, here in Romania and also around the globe, I think if you are a freelancer, yeah, you are working with different companies. You are working based on contracts. You are paying your taxes to the government. At the end of your collaboration, you will still have the right to your pensions, to your I don't know, benefits that you also have when you are working on a traditional job. But of course, I mean, you cannot apply these new methodologies to every industry. Let's say when you're going to the doctors for a surgery, you need to go there. However, there are some businesses, there are some sectors where you can very easily adapt to this new way of working. Yeah, I'm not sure if I answered your question, but this is how I see it, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, Kola, do you have any thoughts about this new way of working, of adapting?
Can you hear me now? Can people hear me now?
Now, yes. Yes.
Oh gosh, for the last half an hour, I've been because while you were presenting, I was also talking and trying to get attention on certain things to add some more things.
Sorry.
But I didn't realize that you could not hear me and that no one else could hear me. My apologies, technical things in there.
I'm sorry.
Well, yes, baby, thank you so much for your question. The whole idea is not about whether we like it or not. The world is moving on. And when the world is moving on, if you don't move with it, you might just get left behind. And that's just sadly the reality of what is happening in our world. And so when you think about the platform economy, where does your business play? And this is the whole point of sharing this economic landscape, is to show us that with respect to whatever business you're doing, with respect to whatever work you're doing right now, how does it fit in for you to fit in with where the world is going so you don't get left behind? So take, for example, when we talk about the gig economy, what do you have that you may need to brush up on to fit the requirement of those who are going to require your services? And in terms of you brushing up on what you need to do as an organization, as an individual, can you do it in a lean way? And this is nothing against maybe going for a full-blown master's or whatever it is, but does that give you exactly what you want in terms of where you want to get to? So it's thinking about the lean way of doing things. Platform economy, for example. I don't know if anyone knows the Fiverr.com, that so many people gather and say these are the expertise that we have. They provide a platform for so many people to be able to get in. And so there are different things. It's just a case of where our world is. Just to be aware, I'm sorry about the technical things that we've had. We've had technical issues. I'm sorry if you were trying to get through Facebook. Unfortunately, something happened and we were unable to get onto it, and so could not do that. But if it's going to be okay with people, just because of that time, we might just extend the session for another 10 minutes, if that's okay. Obviously, if you do have to go, then please do feel free to go. But we will just continue with questions, and we'll just try and be brief on those questions as well. So please, if you do have a question, please carry on. This is where my slide. Yeah.
I had a question here about who is driving the new way of working. If it's the customer, if it's marketplace disruptors, or it's the worker. So from my point of view, it's the market itself. The market actually protects the gig specialist. His personal branding, it's increasing as he delivers good results. And actually, why do we adapt? We adapt our business because the customers are asking for new services, for new products. But specifically in this time, we are adapting because of conditions who are not are not depending on us specifically, not on us, the companies, not on customers, but mainly the market is the driver for these changes.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, Alexandra, there. Who is driving it? It's the market, and the market comprises the supplier and the customer. And so it is, for whatever reason, some people have driven technology to a particular level, and so and others, the early adopters, are also spreading it, which then can indicate that some people are going to be left behind because everyone is chasing towards another way of looking at things, and that drive continues in that format. And so basically it's thinking, what exactly am I doing? What is it am I offering? Do I want to put in so much and everything into it such that by the end of the day I have nothing left, and if the customers don't want it, then I'm done for? Or you want to try and be lean and think of the MVP. What's the MVP that your product will require, the minimum viable product that your final product is going to require in order to do it in the lean way. So thank you. And any more questions there, please? Any more thoughts, questions? Chris, you did have a question. Was that Chris's question you were taking?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fantastic.
It was Chris's question.
Okay. Just a few things, just as I was saying earlier. I'll share my screen again. It just seems that things just happen technology-wise and affect a few things that I can't understand it. I did say that we will have there is a Lean Six Sigma conference that is being done by the the International Lean Six Sigma Institute, and that's going to be happening in January. And if you are interested, by all means, please feel free to let us know of your interest in it. And also at the end of this brief presentation, you will have access to these slides, which we will send to you as well. So you will, well, not send to you, but we'll make available and let you know where to find the slides for it. So right now I'm again trying to share my slides and share my screen, and it's not happening.
You want me to share the slides?
Please, if you don't mind, let's just,
sure.
So at least we do have a chance to.
Yes, okay. So
fantastic. Any questions in the meantime? Or comments or thoughts? Now, just as we said, we are trainers and consultants ourselves, and we do have a number of courses that we have available, because that means there's absolutely no way by which we can make a lot of this information useful to you. We have seen great benefit with different organizations in different industries that have been able to make a lot of improvement with simple elimination of waste, identification of waste, and elimination of waste. In the Lean Six Sigma world, we have the Lean Six Sigma awareness course, which is a one-day course, which by the end of the course, you will definitely be able to go and make some improvements in your workplace, no doubt about it. And we have this one-day course, which together we're presenting for a discounted rate. And again, just as said, we will have the information available after the course, but we have this special price only till Tuesday if you do want to sign up for the Lean Six Sigma awareness course. And this is a certificate of attendance which we have in place after that. Then we also have the Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt course, which has got the certification of the Yellow Belt, and the Yellow Belt, which is certified by the accredited International Lean Six Sigma Institute. There's an examination at the end of the 2-day course. And I see my good friend Wale Akiemi raising a hand there, and we will take your question. We can take your question now. Actually, let's hear your question. Do you want to
Thank
mute?
you very much indeed. This is really informative, and you talk about eliminating waste. All right. Now, in startup culture, one of the things that I have learned is that a lot of what we eventually arrive at by experimentation. Now, when we're experimenting, because at the beginning, nobody really knows what the customer wants. All right. But by experimenting, by releasing it, allowing it to fail to some level, then you make adjustments. Some more failure happens, but you literally fail your way into success. Now, how do you align those two, failing your way into success? Won't it, isn't there a danger that we would have stopped the whole process when the failing happens, saying that that is part of the waste? I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are making a lot of sense.
Okay, thank you.
And that is a fantastic question. And what I would say is, in the startup, there are certain things that one could do. For example, when we look at the sharing economy, for example, should we employ staff, or should we use the expertise that we require at different points in time? That, for example, is a form of waste elimination. And talking about, okay, how do we deal with whether we have, how do we deal with whether we should persist with what we're doing or should we pivot, just as I was saying in the slide that I was looking at initially. One of the slides that I used earlier. It's about understanding what metrics we want to measure in terms of putting out the minimum viable product. What do we want to measure? So say, for example, we're talking about putting out a number of courses which people want to attend online in your university, for example. We could be talking about, okay, what is it that people actually want? Should we give them rather than fully go and create all of these courses at a huge cost, should we give them what we're intending to actually give? Let's give them an outline. When we give that outline, we are eliminating the waste of cost, of time, and various things before we release the product. And so if there is adoption from the customer, they are also telling us, from the point of view of validated learning, they are also telling us some of those things that they want to see. So if we know how to measure those things and have the adequate metrics, which help us to judge, and I gave 3 points of the metrics, which help us to judge, then hopefully it does help us in the elimination of waste. I don't know what you think about Alexandra and Wale in terms of your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I also want to add something. I mean, if you think about the whole lean methodology, the lean principles are that everywhere work is being done, waste is being generated. By applying some lean tools to analyze and streamline your process, you aim for waste reduction. But the main idea of lean is that, yeah, you accept the idea that everywhere work is being done, waste is being generated. However, by learning some tools, some techniques, you can eliminate them, you can reduce them with, I don't know, with an effort from your team. But the waste is there. The aim is to reduce it. Exactly.
Thank you. Wale, what do you say to that? Does that?
Yeah, I thank you. I totally hear you, but I think my big concern is, how do we know that waste which we eliminated today doesn't become a pillar that we need somewhere down the line?
Yeah,
you know,
again, no one has a crystal ball, and it all goes back to understanding, one, the vision, where is it that we're going, and two, how are we measuring what we're getting in that stead? So elimination of the waste may mean that we've put it aside in terms of our prioritization. So it may be that, okay, right now, rather than tear it apart, burn it, and get rid of it, we've just put it aside and it's no longer taking priority. So that, for example, from the point of view of a startup, maybe thinking in line with that, because we don't know, and you don't know. So you are only responding to the voice of the customer, which you've got metrics, some KPIs to measure. Are we giving the customer what they want? And don't forget, it's also possible that the customer will say, this is what we want, and then they change their mind and they no longer want it. So we still have these risks of them saying they want. We've done things for people before, which they say they want it, and by the time we've created it, they're not willing to pay any longer. They don't want it anymore. How do you deal with that? This is direct. So it's some of the risks that we do have in terms of being in business, being in our world.
Can I add to that, actually?
Yes, certainly.
Going back to the customer, I think also as entrepreneurs, part of our job is also sometimes to educate the customer, because the customer doesn't always know what they want. So by way of example, Henry Ford said that if he had asked the customer, what do they want? They would have said they want a faster horse. Whereas really what they needed was a completely different mode of transport. So there are times that even the customer doesn't know, and we have to be innovative in implementing certain things, perhaps along the lines of lean, which may be in the best interest of the customer, that the customer doesn't realize at the time. Thank you.
Yeah, good point. Thank you.
And Wally, what do you think about those comments so far?
No, I love it. Thank you. It has added a lot of, it's given a lot of insight. Well, like you said, nobody really has that crystal ball, and which is where experimentation comes in. And I give you another challenge we had when we started the university. You have a bunch of old men who have been on various boards and all that, and then one of the challenges we have. So you have the challenge with the the guys who are used to a conventional corporate structure, and then so they're seeing the world from a different lens. And then we have the developers who are seeing the world from from a technical lens, and they don't understand why somebody is seeing the world from a customer view. And so I think you may need to develop a totally new team building program for startups, because everybody means well, but they're seeing the world from their own prism.
Absolutely.
So my technical people, my developers, get frustrated when we talk about no, ease of access. The customer wants it, and they say no. They say everybody understands this, and I said you need to make this thing idiot proof. So we have those wrangles. How can you help us?
Yeah, it's just the world we're in, and because bottom line, at the end of the day, the biggest waste is all the time and money and everything that we've expended and nobody wants to pay for. That's the biggest waste. And so however way we try, I mean, not be it Facebook, be it whatever, they are not the only ones that started that journey. But some were able to find some way around it. So we just don't know. I've got another question here, which Chris has asked, which says, in a world where change is happening at an increasingly rapid pace, and we're being asked to accept and indeed lead change, which will present results and outcomes in short-term timescales of days, weeks, or at most months, how can we deal with change that is very slow, yet has the greatest impacts of all on humankind? And he's thinking of example on changes to the climate, changes in people's attitudes towards those of different race or faith, etc. That how do we deal with change that could happen in short-term spans? And I think really this is how do we deal with it? It's a case of, in business, how does it impact on your core business? If it does, then you're going to be needing to be quick and flexible understanding the economic landscapes that we have, to know what makes you switch very, very quickly. So it's thinking of whatever business we're thinking of, or where we are. If we needed to exit that product or that service, what is our exit plan? How do we respond? And this is where I like to quote some of the things that I've learned in the past, which is, blessed are the flexible, for they shall never be broken. So it's how much can you adapt to the changes that are going on? And that's what I would say to that. Chris, I don't know whether that makes any sense at all in terms of. I'm being asked, and there's another question here. How can one find out if there is a market for your product if you do not live in the content you want to sell that product? A very quick thing that I can say is, then go to SurveyMonkey and see if you can create a survey with your contacts in that continent and see whether there's going to be any bite in it. And that's the best I can say, because obviously the whole world has become localized, because we now have a way by which people can use the digital economy to reach everywhere where they are. So if you want to know whether there's a market somewhere, you might just need to do a quick survey. Hopefully that will help you. I hope that does help with that question. I did say 10 minutes, and it's come up to 10 plus, and I don't know. If people are still here, I'm quite happy to go on to half past. But if people feel that they need to leave, then that's also fine. But if there's any other question, please you can please let me know, or any other comment, or whatever it is that we want to know. Constantine, are you saying anything at all?
Yes, actually.
Constantine
hello.
is the leader at Enviso Global. Thank you for being here.
I was thinking to that discussion about changes, and I think short-term changes do not last. Let me just put in that way, and it's related to the question about the waste. In March, actually, the lockdown came and affected all logistic chains worldwide. We knew that one of the waste forms, it's the
Oh, we can't hear you anymore.
Oh, sorry. I had the technical problem.
Okay.
We all know that inventory, it's a kind of waste, yeah, a form of waste. But during the lockdown, just in time became just in case. Everyone tried to accumulate as much as possible inventory. It didn't last. I know that some consultants started to say that, okay, you were wrong. Just in time, it's not the good strategy for logistics. But after 3 months, all logistic chains worldwide recovered. So I would say that what appears to be lasting change proved to be just unpleasant event, but short-term event.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would stick to those 7 ways that are proved to be viable.
Yeah.
And when we are talking about crisis management, it's totally different than the real life. So this year it was special, but I wouldn't apply all the rules that came up after all these crises to the existing economy and especially for the future.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too conservative, but I wouldn't say that from now on, just in time is going to become just in case.
No, I do see your point. It's like what do we do, for example, when we have a an economic shakedown where we have a problem in where there's an economic downturn or something. It just helps us to plan how to play better or to play differently. So I do agree with you. So there will be some different set of skills in order to now move to the next way of dealing with things or doing things. People talk about the new normal, and new normal. We don't even know what it is yet. In my view, we really don't know what it is. Are we going to go back to where we were? Are we not? We don't know. We thought in this pandemic that airplanes will make sure people are not sitting packed next to one another. No, because I've done like 4 flights since then, and airplanes, people are sitting next to one another. So we don't know. We don't know how people are going to play it. So customers will be demanding something, and suppliers will be saying, "This is what we're giving." And if nobody is giving anything differently, then how do you stand out? So it's still, just as Alexandra was saying, the market is still the one that will determine what exactly is going on. But we've got to be flexible on our feet to know how to deal with things, especially looking at our own vision and seeing the response that is being given to the part that we are giving to customers. Are they wanting what we want, what we're giving to them at all? If they're not wanting it, what then do we do? Because if they don't want it, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Yep. And also, I had some thoughts about the gig economy. It was a question about the protection that the gig specialist needs. In my opinion, a real gig specialist is having a global coverage. I mean, he's a kind of star. He doesn't need protection. I mean, normally, a gig specialist with a strong personal branding, it doesn't need any kind of protection. Companies are fighting to have his expertise. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. They've stood out. They have saying that I'm an expert in this thing. And so for them, if there's competition in terms of what they are providing and they're not able to provide it, the question is, how can they get better than their competition and provide something else? And that's why the likes of us, we are getting into the game and fighting in the game where there are people, there are organizations that have established themselves as clear leaders, and we're saying, regardless, we will still go for it. So, and I think this is what it is.
Yeah.
Can I come back on that?
Yes.
Yes.
I beg to differ. I do apologize, but
Okay.
I beg to differ.
Please do. Please, yeah.
I believe all workers need protection, whether they're global or localized in their skill sets or their offering. All workers need protection. Particularly so when you are operating in more than one jurisdiction, you need even more protection. And the fact that you are a specialist in your field does not necessarily mean that it's only you that people are going to come to. I mean, the more, let's take for example, if you design flyers on Fiverr, people who design flyers on Fiverr are a dime a dozen. So the fact that they're specialists in their field doesn't mean that, you know, that they won't be exposed. I disagree. I think all workers need protection. More now than before.
Is it a case of we're thinking of workers in terms of employees versus self-employed?
Irrespective whether they're self-employed or employees, they need protection.
By who though?
Sorry?
By who?
What do you mean by who?
Who's going to protect them?
That's what I'm saying. They need protection. The law needs to protect them.
Oh, okay.
Employers need to protect them, or whoever their clients they're working for needs to protect. They do need protection.
Oh yeah,
they're not just working in a vacuum. They do need protection, especially in the legal space. They do.
I think it's going to come to a place of, obviously, when you're operating in a country, you need to just abide by the legal requirements there. I think that's what will come to. Yeah.
And I mean, from my point of view, and I'm not sure if I understood exactly the question, but from which point of view do you, I mean, what do you refer when you say protection? From, I don't know, financial point of view, legal point of view, contracting, or everything? Because gig economy does not mean that you're working like someone finds you on the internet. You still have a contract, you still have some clauses that you need to respect, you or your partner, contractor, employer, or so on and so on. So actually, that contract, it's giving them protection. As you have an employer-employee contract, you have a partnership contract between the gig and the company. So I'm thinking about this from this point of view.
Okay, thank you.
So when thinking about gig economy, I'm thinking about the stars. I mean, in gig economy, only the stars will have success. And I would ask, does Messi or Ronaldo really need protection today?
They will find their own protection, won't they?
We're not all Messi and Ronaldo, though.
Yeah, but
we have to be.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I think the emphasis of Constantine is that he's saying about the stars. So the stars don't need and so it's a case of, do you want to drive to becoming a star or not? This can go on and on and on. But let's drive to a real close here. And thank you so much for. I was just letting people know about the courses that we do have available, the 2-day Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt, which gives you the international certification from the International Lean Six Sigma Institute, which we go into more details on how to deal with waste. And this is just a foundation level. And there's no way people can go into a Lean Six Sigma course that they don't get back and actually get benefit of that. And so that does happen. And then we do have the Agile courses, which we do. We have the Lean, the Agile overview, which we do, we have a special discount on the 1-day Agile overview, as well as a foundation course, which is a 2-day event, which takes you into more of understanding of the DSDM Agile Project Management Framework, which is accredited by the APMG group in the UK. And of course, like I said, we do have a special discount on that for this. And so, just if you do need to get in touch with us, please, for whether for the registration or not, please feel free to either send an email to training@makewayglobal.com or to info@enviso.org. And you can also follow us in the subsequent pages. But what we will do is, in the respective websites, we will have the full-blown slides, which will be available for anyone who wants to have a look at some of the slides. And it will include some of the text information for the five economic landscapes. When we talk about those five economic landscapes, there'll be some text information additional to that, which we will have available for you. But in saying all this, I wonder if there's anyone who still has a question that you have for us. So these full slides will be available, and so you'll get all of this. But if you don't have any further questions, we can go back into, we can come off the sharing. If you don't have any further questions, then it really is good. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that you have some form of benefit you've been able to take away, because you have invested a whole hour and a half of your time into this. And I do hope you have taken some thoughts away in terms of how you are going to view the things that you do, in terms of particularly where you're creating a new product, where you're starting a new business, or whatever it is. I hope you would do well in the future. And of course, we do hope that we will be able to welcome you to one of our courses where we not only teach, but we're prepared to coach you in the real life of getting the results that you desire. Alexandra?
Like getting your heart and be ready to fight the defects and the waste in your processes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining and for staying with us.
All right.
And it was actually, it was a pleasure for me.
Good. Thank you all. Have a good afternoon. Take care.
Have
Bye-bye.
a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.